The United Kingdom's Ministry of Defense latest intelligence update on Ukraine, July 13, 2023. In June 2023, there were reports of Russian forces using old armored vehicles loaded with explosives as makeshift bombs. The crew would abandon the vehicle after setting it in motion. These incidents mainly occurred near Mgarinka, close to Donetsk city. It is believed that Chechen forces, known for their expertise in using improvised explosives, may have pioneered this tactic, as they had previously made similar vehicle bombs in January 2023 while fighting in Ukraine. Most of the Russian vehicle bombs were intercepted before reaching their targets thanks to anti-tank mines and direct fire. However, these bombs still posed a psychological threat due to their ability to cause large explosions. The Air Force Command of Ukraine Armed Forces update. On the night of July 13, 2023, Russia launched 20 Iranian-made attack drones called Shahed 136 and 131. They were launched from two directions, northeastern Kursk and southeastern Primorsko-Akhtarsk. Russia also fired 2 Caliber cruise missiles from the Black Sea and 1 Iskander-M ballistic missile from Junkoy, Crimea. Fortunately, Ukraine successfully stopped all 20 attack drones, mainly in the Kyiv region. They also managed to neutralize 2 Caliber cruise missiles that were headed in different directions. Ukraine's defense forces, including anti-aircraft missile units, fighter aircraft, and mobile fire groups, played a crucial role in repelling the Russian launches. Over the past few days, the Ukrainian Air Force launched more than 15 airstrikes against the Russian occupiers, working together in groups. These airstrikes were targeted actions against the Russian forces. Ukraine's ability to defend itself and respond effectively shows their determination to protect their country from threats. The Institute for the Study of War Russian Offensive Campaign Assessment. Former commander of the 58th Combined Arms Army Major General Ivan Popov claimed in leaked audio that Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu dismissed him for expressing persistent grievances about problems on the western Zaporizhia Oblast front line to senior commanders. Russian State Duma deputy and former deputy commander of the Southern Military District Lieutenant General Andrei Gurulev leaked Popov's audio message on July 12, in which Popov stated that Russian command fired him for expressing grievances over the lack of support for Russian forces and replaced him with Lieutenant General Denis Lyamin. Popov claimed that he expressed concerns to the highest level of Russian command over the lack of Russian counter-battery warfare capabilities, the absence of artillery reconnaissance stations, significant Russian casualties from Ukrainian artillery fire, and other issues. Popov claimed that Shoigu fired him because his honesty in voicing various problems in the Russian military threatened the Russian command. Popov claimed that he chose to call a spade in the name of his dead comrades, instead of remaining in silent cowardice. Russian sources previously claimed that Chief of the Russian General Staff Army General Valery Gerasimov dismissed Popov for expressing concerns over the need for troop rotations in western Zaporizhia Oblast amid Ukrainian counteroffensive operations. The Institute for the Study of War key takeaways today. Popov likely attempted to appeal to the Kremlin to partially or fully strip Gerasimov of command over operations in Ukraine. Gerasimov may have tried to shield Putin from unwanted criticism, to uphold Putin's ignorance, by firing Popov before he could appeal directly to the Kremlin. Popov's attempt to directly appeal to Putin for support and his insubordination of Gerasimov's command is indicative of a pattern of corrosive behavior that has developed within the Russian command and the Russian forces fighting in Ukraine. Russian military bloggers expressed varied reactions to Popov's dismissal, though none disagreed with Popov's complaints about problems Russian forces experience on the front. Disruptions to the Russian command overseeing Russian defensive operations in southern Ukraine will likely have some immediate but marginal impacts on Russian forces. Popov's dismissal over the issue of Russian casualties and reported complaints about lack of force rotations further supports the Institute for the Study of War's assessment that Russian defenses in Ukraine are likely brittle. Ukrainian forces continued counteroffensive operations on at least 3 sectors of the front line on July 13 and made gains in some areas. The Kremlin reportedly ordered the detention and suspension of several senior military officers following the Wagner Group's armed rebellion on June 24, supporting the Institute for the Study of War's prior assessment that the Kremlin likely intends to purge the Ministry of Defense of figures viewed as disloyal. Russian forces conducted a series of Shahed drone strikes across Ukraine on July 13. Russian and Ukrainian sources engaged in positional battles near Crimea. Ukrainian forces conducted ground attacks and reportedly advanced around Bakhmut. Ukrainian and Russian forces continue to conduct ground attacks along the Avdiivka-Donetsk city line. Ukrainian forces reported conducting limited offensive operations in western Donetsk Oblast and continued counter-offensive operations in the Donetsk-Zaporizhia Oblast's border area. Ukrainian forces continued counter-offensive operations and made some gains in western Zaporizhia Oblast as of July 13. Russia may not be fulfilling some of its commitments to Iran in their bilateral security partnership, even as the Russian military continues to rely heavily on Iranian-made drones in Ukraine. The Associated Press reported on July 13 that Russian forces and occupation administrations are conducting a wide-scale campaign to detain and abuse civilians and are planning to build additional internment infrastructure in the occupied territories.